Hey you guys, and welcome back. Today's video is going to be a product review and swatch video. I am going to be swatching and talking about the new Kat Von D Metal Matte Eyeshadow Palette. So let's get started. This is what the box looks like. It is cool packaging. It has this like raised embossed lettering, and it's cool because you look at it one way and like right here it says metal, but then you flip it around and then it says matte. So that is really, really cool. So this is the box, just to give you guys an idea of how long this one is, because when I first pulled this out of the box, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so long. It is very long, and like this is her Monarch palette. So you can see just how much longer this palette is. But I mean, that doesn't bother me, I like it. I mean, obviously I think it would be annoying maybe to travel with because it's obviously very long, but it's slim. But anyway, so that is the front of it. This is the back of it. It just has her shades. And then in the box comes this little card that has 3 different looks that you can do with it. And then this is the actual palette. Again, the palette basically just looks exactly like the box does, except for the back doesn't have the colors, you know, the actual color on it. But again, it's a magnetic closing, it's cardboard, it has a nice slim mirror, and then you have all the shadows right here. This is exclusive to Sephora for $60. I believe it goes on sale, I think it's October 7th. And it comes with 9 metal shades, and it comes with 13 mattes. Each shade is 1.7 grams of product, and so you have a total of 22 shadows in here. I can't remember if I just said it was $60. Did I say $60? It is, if I didn't say it. But anyway, yeah, so I am going to post a picture real quick of a look that I did yesterday. I posted it on Instagram using some of the shades here. So what I did use is I used velvet, I used suede, I used silk, and I used tinsel. I honestly, for whatever, I cannot remember if I used ribbon or not. I'm sorry, I can't remember if I used ribbon. I might have used ribbon too, but I used tinsel. For today's look, I am using linen, velour, ribbon, silk, fringe, and flash. So I'm using those. I will say with these metal shades, and I've only used the 2, so I can only go off of the 2 that I've used. The tinsel, that's right here. The tinsel is a little bit more chunkier than the flash is. And when I went to go use tinsel yesterday, I used it, you know, I didn't wet it or anything like that. I just wanted to see how it looked by itself. And I did get some fallout using it, but then when I went ahead and I sprayed it with some Max Fix Plus, it not only obviously made the shadow pop more, it was like more like a foiled look, but it also took away, I mean, it didn't fall, I didn't have any more fallout. So that was really good. So I would just suggest using these. I would go ahead and I would wet them. Like even today I used it wet. But I mean, obviously you have the option to use it dry, but I'm sorry, I also used Glitz and Twinkle. Twinkle I think I used yesterday, Glitz I used today. Sorry, yes. So I used those. But, very beautiful palette. I mean, I like Kat Von D's palettes, so I am very happy with this. They blend in very, very well. They don't blend into one another. I mean, you can see where I have the blue, the purple, where I have the silk shade. I have a ribbon on the bottom, the darker purple. So, I mean, you can see all the colors. They don't blend in and make it look muddy. So that was really nice. I really love palettes that have 2 rows, like a row of mattes and then a row of your shimmery shades or glitter or metal shades. I like those type of palettes. That's why I'm such a big fan of the Lorac Pro palettes, because I love the fact that they do that. They have the row of the one, or if it's the Mega Pro, they have 2 rows of each. I just like that because I just feel like that you don't need to bring anything else in from your collection. You can just basically just take this with you, and you have tons of different looks that you can make with them because you do have both a good mixture of the mattes and the shimmery shades. I will say using the mattes, and like I said, I can only speak on the ones that I've used, but like when I was using the suede and the twinkle, that, you know, when you use it with the fluffy brush, you do get a bit of kick up, but that doesn't bother me. I don't care. I'm looking for, like I said, just the pigmentation, how they blend, how they wear. They, you know, I've been, even like yesterday, I did my makeup early. It lasted all night. I usually don't take my makeup off until late at night, like 11, midnight. So, you know, they didn't crease at all. The only thing that I used was just a the Smashbox 24-hour photo finish primer. So I use that on my eyes, and they work great. I mean, I really don't have any complaints. I mean, obviously, you know, the white and the black, even the stone is like a lighter version of the black shade. I mean, these obviously come in most palettes, but those are palettes that you, I mean, those are colors that you really do use, whether it be for your crease or your transition area. So I just think it's a great variety of colors, as well as your shimmery shades. This velvet shade is stunning. I absolutely love it. This is the color that I used yesterday, and I was a little bit scared to use the velour because I don't really do wear a lot of blue. But I like the way that it came out with the blue, the purple, and then the gold. I really like the way that it came out. So I am all in all very happy with this. Like I said, it is $60. Do I think that you should go out and buy it? I'm not going to say that whether you should, you need this in your life. Obviously, we don't need these in our lives. But if you're, was eyeing it and you wanted to treat yourself to something, I would say this is a very good palette to go for. You can either go and wait into Sephora and swatch them yourself, or you could go ahead and purchase it, and then obviously it's like anything else. If you don't like it, then return it, which I'm saying that to myself. I'm giving myself that own advice because I never really do that. I need to get better doing that. This coming up year, that's one of my goals, is to return things I don't like or I don't use. But it really is. It's a beautiful palette. I will say, and I will show you really quick, when I went to go, because I do have some of her other palettes, I wanted to see if there were any dupes in her other palettes. And so I did look through them. I had everything sprawled out on my bed, and I was swatching away and everything like that. And I did come up with ones that were dupes to me. Again, they're not exact identical. Some were very close to being identical. But they were, similar enough. Like I said, if you were to do one eye with one shade and another eye with the other, the other shade with the other eye, you wouldn't really be able to tell the difference. So, and the ones that I have, just to give you a reference, and all this will be listed down below, I have the Monarch, I have the Shade and Light Eye, this is the Interstellar, this one is the Vida Loca, this is the Spellbinding, and this one is the Studded Kiss. So just again, going off of what I have of her other palettes, I just, swatched away and came up with some that I think were comparable dupes to this metal matte palette. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the swatches of one arm that just shows you all the metals, the other arm that shows you just all the mattes, and then I will show you for the ones that I did find a dupe for. I will list that on there so you know what, which one is which, like which one's coming from this one and which one's coming from the other palette, as well as the name of the shadow from the other palettes. Just in case you do have those and maybe you only like maybe specific colors, like maybe when you look at this, the only thing that really maybe stands out for you is maybe this silk or this ribbon or this velvet, and I don't know, maybe the Ignite or the Volt. And you're like, all right, well, I have this other palette, and she says it's sort of like a dupe, so I'll go check that out, and I already have it, so I won't need to buy this palette. I mean, obviously, everybody buys their palettes or whatever, their shadows for their own reasons. I just genuinely love eyeshadow palettes. Eyeshadows are my thing. That's what I always say. I love eyeshadow palettes. So it does take a lot for me to be like, nah, I really don't like that. Now, like I said, I'm sure if I go through my stash of shadows, I'm sure I could probably come up with pretty much a similar shade for each thing that's in here. Maybe with the exception of maybe a few. But on the whole, I'm sure I can find it. But I just love palettes, which is hysterical because obviously I just did my palette declutter, which I will link down below in case you missed that. But I will always buy palettes, it doesn't matter. So yes, that's just that. So I will go ahead and start the swatches for you guys so you guys can see. If you have any questions, then please let me know in the comments down below. If you guys enjoy this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. A spoiler alert, I have been obviously purchasing some palettes because it's just that time of the year. So a spoiler alert to my low buy for September. I obviously have purchased some things. I hope to get my low buy out tomorrow if I possibly can. But you will get a peek at what I've purchased. I will be doing like a swatch video for each of those palettes that I've just purchased so you guys can see some swatches and just, you know, my thoughts on them. Just in case you know, were wanting to get those palettes if you haven't already. I would love to know your thoughts on this if you have it, if you got it, or if you are eyeing it, let me know if you're going to get it. So yeah, again, I don't want to be the one to say, oh, you need to get this, run out to the store and get it, but it is a beautiful palette. I mean, if you're an eyeshadow lover or an eye palette collector, then I would say yes, you probably would want this in your little stash. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys are having a beautiful and blessed day. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys. Mwah.